This is the RPM Podcast, starring Eric Brennan,
created solely to make women cry,
Sam Ballard Jr.,
Therapy, lobotomy, Jesus, mix it all in.
Scott Riggleman,
fungus-faced toad sucker, yellow-bellied gutless slug,
and Josh Matthews.
Dude, I'm such a jerk. It's ridiculous.
And here we are again, episode 131 of the RPM Podcast.
Not really a milestone.
No, we are. It's kind of a weird number, 131, but you gotta do 131 to get to 132. So we'll keep going here. We are recording this at 8:25 p.m. on Monday night, April 1st, 2019. How you doing, Josh Matthews?
April Fool's jokes on you.
No, we're not doing any of the April Fool stuff. We're skipping that. So everything we say is serious. I did get fooled by one today, and it was the repaving of Englishtown Raceway Park. I saw him. I thought, maybe that one was true, but that picture was from 2015. That was the one I was fooled by. But no, we're not doing any of that stuff. We're mature adults here. So we have producer Josh Matthews at the Matthews Family Studio in Waretown, New Jersey. We got my brother Tim Riggleman, spotter on the NASCAR Modified Tour Circuit with driver Eric Goodale. Tim, how you doing up in Farmingdale?
I'm good. Got a lot to talk about tonight.
We got a lot to talk about tonight. I mean, racing's alive and well. The national level, local level, everything's going on, man. There's so much to talk about. But before we get started, I do have a problem with my brother. I'm going to air some family laundry here.
Oh, boy.
I'm disappointed in him in two things. One thing is his 26th place finish down at South Boston, but we'll get to that later. The other thing is, since I've been on this crazy diet, I don't go to fast food places often, and Tim's supposed to be the food guru on this podcast. The other day, I was driving home from Big Diamond, and Nancy's like, I'm stopping at McDonald's. I got a craving for McDonald's. You want anything from there for later when you get home? I said, you know what? Grab me a 10-piece nugget. I haven't had the chicken nuggets in a while. I could probably eat a couple of them. And she's like, what kind of sauces you want? I'm like, I don't know. Just get a couple of each, And usually they only give you one or two sauces. And I guess she told the kid working at the counter, give me a couple of each. And he really did give her a couple of every sauce they had. She had a whole bag of sauces when she gets home. I didn't know this, Tim, but you might have been holding back on us. Do you know that we used to call it the secret sauce, the sauce on the Big Mac? Do you know they give it into the dippers now, Tim? It's called the signature sauce.
I did not.
Yeah, check it out, man. See it?
I'm a hot mustard guy. Which they don't have it at every place.
Me and Tim, when we were kids, we thought it was so cool. We knew what was in the, in the secret sauce in McDonald's, and now they're giving it out in the little packets, which I thought was pretty cool. I thought maybe Tim might have known about that.
I will go to McDonald's tomorrow and do a little RPM research, as our producer Josh Matthews says I do.
Well, at South Boston, there's a picture. Was that you in Hot Pockets eating some? What was that? The Bologna burgers? Or
yeah, well, we can get into that now, or we can get into that later when Scott wants to do the.
Yeah, we'll get into that when we get down to the South Boston stuff. Let's get right into the NASCAR stuff. I did watch the truck race. I saw the last maybe 20 laps of the Xfinity race when I got home from Wall Stadium's practice. And I didn't see any of the Cup race because I was up at Big Diamond racing.
How dare you?
I know. But Denny Hamlin won. That's two for him this year, right? He won the Daytona 500, and now he wins the Texas.
Yeah, I know. I put the note for Ham win. He, I mean, it's good. He won, but he kind of didn't deserve it, and not from cheating or whatever. But Kyle had dominated that race.
Yeah, it was like, did you see? He went in the corner that one time, and the car
he just smacked the wall a little bit, but I think it was hard enough to knock it a little bit out of alignment or something, and that was the end of that. So,
yeah, well, before that, he was complaining that it was something. He had a vibration in the left front tire or something, and they fixed that. And then he was going in the corner that one time, and it just it didn't snap loose. It just took off.
Yeah. It almost looked like if a right front went down, he just went up.
I don't know if something minor like broke, something really stupid, and it just affected the car. But after that, he was, like you said, he was out of contention to win. So
Yeah, well, he still finished 10th though, which is I mean, out of that many cars, that's still respectable. Considering the damage and everything else that happened, but I mean, otherwise, yeah, it was a Kyle Busch weekend. Actually, in the Cup race, I don't know if you saw when Kyle passed Kurt, basically the pass in the grass. Did you happen to catch that?
No, I didn't see much of the Cup race.
Okay, well,
traveling.
They went. I think it was just about 3 wide on the front stretch there. And Kyle actually he just stuck it in there and just about nudged his brother out of the way, and then Kurt got back past him a little bit later on the backstretch. But I mean, there was some excitement going on. Now, Scott, there's something I wanted to talk to you about. Something I noticed during the race, and even if you haven't watched it, just because you're a racer and you have a lot more experience than me and knowledge and everything else. It looked like a lot of the cars. Now I'm used to the cars when they pit, they lock up the brakes a little bit and they slide into the pit stall. Okay, but a lot of times you'll see either all of them lock up, or you see this was always just the rears, and they were locking up real easy. Do you think they were putting in more rear brake at this track for some reason?
Maybe. I mean, mostly it's the front brakes that lock up when they come into the pits.
Yeah,
I really don't
rears.
know. Yeah, that's kind of weird.
And it wasn't just 1 or 2 cars. I mean, I actually made enough of a point of it to put it in our show document here to like what was going on. I mean, it was every car just locking up the rear, sliding into the pits. And I'm just wondering why you would dial the brakes in that way.
Yeah, I really don't know. I don't think really Texas they use much brakes there because the track's so big and the turns are so sweeping. I don't see them using much brakes at all.
I remember they said that the tires weren't really going to be an issue. I mean, the tire wear was absolutely minimal. I mean, they were doing gas and goes for a few stops just because the tires are still good.
And that was kind of true in the truck race, too, because Stuart Friesen had 4 tires on at the end of the race, and Kyle Busch had 2 tires on it. And everybody thought Stuart Friesen was going to be able to blow by Kyle Busch with the 4 tires against 2 tires, and Kyle was able to hold him off pretty easily with 2 tires. So that must have been the whole weekend for all 3 divisions down there.
Now, just curious. So, what motor is Kyle Busch running in the truck? Does he have that Elmore, or is that?
I know they were fighting that for a while, but I think they finally gave in. I know that Toyota didn't want it in their truck, and I think they finally. I mean, I'm not sure. I really don't know, but I'm pretty sure they have the Elmore motor. I mean, you just can't compete with the other motors on the track that size. Maybe at Martinsville or something like that, you can get away with it, but not a track like Texas.
Okay, yeah. Well, I was just wondering if that would have played anything into how Kyle held off Friesen, or depending on what everybody's running. Now, another theme that we saw at Texas this weekend in really all divisions was that the cars just were going around. They were just spinning. You got anywhere near somebody and. Trucks are. I mean, it looked like a freaking sportsman race out there on Friday with the trucks. I mean, I enjoyed watching the race, but I mean, how long was that red flag?
I have no idea.
But I'm just it went on for a while because there was a lot of fluid and everything that went down on the track Friday night, and it just a lot of trucks, and really in every race, a lot of cars were just spinning out, hitting the wall. It happened to even was it Keselowski that spun, hit the wall. Just people that you wouldn't expect. Kyle and Kyle Busch, who like it or not, he's a good driver. He had those problems. He hit the wall. Just is that a product of the track? Was it a product of the temperatures?
I would think aerodynamics.
Yeah. The new package, you thinking?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, because every time I'm watching a car go into 1 and 2 there, I always think of Michael McDowell's crash.
Oh yeah.
When he flipped, I don't know what was that, like 8 times.
Yeah.
That was always.
He had a pretty good run though. I think he finished like 15th. I mean, that the whole Front Row Motorsports is getting better, but his team in that Front Row Motorsports has definitely stepped it up. I know they got a new crew chief, Drew Blickensdorfer, who was crew chief for Jeff Gordon for a while. I think he's brought a lot over to that team, and Michael's team has, they went from a 25th to 30th place team to like a 15th place team now, which is pretty good, which is a pretty good step up,
Mm-hmm. Also, I want to mention, Scott, you brought up last week about Friesen leading the points and finishing second, and Kyle getting no points.
Right.
Friesen is still holding up pretty good. Points.
I thought he had a bigger point lead than that. He's only got a 6-point lead, which I thought with his consistent finishing, he would be higher up than that. But the good thing is, it's a good thing and a bad thing. The trucks are off for like a month now. They don't race again until Dover. So he can brag for a month that he has the point lead.
Okay. Hi, Nancy. Scott's getting some on the air.
Yeah. Stuart Friesen was on NASCAR radio today, and he says it's a good thing and a bad thing. He said he can go dirt track racing with his modified for a month, and he can brag that he's a points leader. But it's a bad thing because he's got some good momentum going. He would like keeping it going. And, that's a long break for a division to take off.
Yeah. Now I know Natalie Decker she went overseas to try out for that W series, that all women's open wheel series.
Yeah, it seemed like they had 28 females over there vying for 18 spots.
18 spots, that's right. Yeah, thank you.
She didn't make the cut.
Yeah, well, which is they had their standards, and if she didn't meet them, she didn't meet them, and that's fine. But she was not at the truck race either. Is that a limited schedule issue, or is that just she made it?
I really don't know. But maybe they didn't have her scheduled for the truck race because they thought she was going to make that W series. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And when it didn't happen,
whose truck has she been driving?
That 29 truck, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe they had somebody else in it for this race.
I didn't get a chance to see every single truck out there, but
because I have noticed Texas truck race. There's a lot of money in Texas. It always seems like there's a couple local kids that have good backing that make that get financial support to get into that race. So maybe somebody else had the truck rented out that week.
There's also been the trucks usually have some pretty bad wrecks there too.
Yeah, that's a fast track.
How was the crowd overall for the weekend there?
I tell you what, the truck race, there was nobody there. It looked like the Xfinity race. There was nobody there. What did the Cup race look like, Josh?
Just above nobody there. No, it wasn't terrible, but it still wasn't packed by any means, which is kind of a shame because I'm not saying that the racing product was incredible, but I think it's a cool track to see, and they have that gimmicky, what is that, like 120-foot wide TV screen on the backstretch.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean the truck race I understand because a lot of people just don't care about the lower divisions even if they put on a better racing product. But it's a Friday night, and if people are trying to head down there or make the trip there, they just got off of work. You have an hour or two to get there. So I mean, I don't know. It's whatever. Anyway, you were. Speaking of points, our RPM podcast is second in points right now.
I saw that with the our RCTU guy.
Yeah, with Dan Thomas. He did a points update, and we're holding.
Yeah, I don't see a Stewart's 09 car in that division anymore. I guess I got dropped out of that.
Well, you joined us, so you're
we merged.
You're under the 57 banner now.
Before we get off of Texas, Josh, your buddy Michael Walter finally made the Ferris wheel. I saw.
Oh yeah. That's where he should stay.
Well, it's funny. We've been talking about that and keep an eye on that, and we were always wondering if there was people actually going over there to go on it,
or if it was just there just to be there, right?
Yeah. If it was staged or not, I don't know, but there was definitely people in line to go on it when Michael Walter was there, and it was functioning. There was an operator there, and it was going around. So
wait, was he at it, or was he actually riding it?
He actually rode it.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure. Him and Rutledge should take a ride.
We have been getting a lot of interaction with our listeners on our Facebook page, and big comment on YouTube and stuff. If anybody knows anything about this Ferris wheel in NASCAR, if anybody knows why it goes to some tracks and doesn't go to others, is it like an ISC track thing, or is it the Bruton Smith track thing? let us know if anybody's been on it or knows anything more about it. We've been trying to find information out about this Ferris wheel, and we can't really find much out about it. It's just weird it's at some tracks and not at others.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to put Rick Patterson on that because he was just checking in with me the other day. Actually, it was Friday, and he said, wanted you to know, yes, the Ferris wheel is at Texas.
Yeah, it was definitely there, but we want to know why it's there. That's a Bruton Smith track, right? So maybe they just go to maybe it's Bruton Smith's Ferris wheel, and he takes it from track to track.
Scott, does your fancy book tell you anything about it?
No, because my fancy book is outdated. I do have it right here. I got to get a newer version. This one, what did I say? It was like 2000. I was going to look up South Boston when we get to that a little later, but yeah. I mean.
I want to look up Lanier. Does it mention him as the owner of that?
No, I think we did that already, didn't we?
I believe we did.
I thought you didn't have it handy that night.
I looked it up like the next morning.
So
while he's doing that, though, the Ferris wheel's at Daytona, so that's not a Bruton Smith track.
Yeah, that's true. That's ISC track.
Maybe it's a different Ferris wheel.
Maybe it's an imposter.
Something that'll make a lot of people happy. DW is thinking about retiring at the end of the year.
He did have a very fancy jacket on Sunday. Did you see that purple jacket he was wearing?
No, I didn't.
I mean, I love DW, and my brother is right. He has done a lot of stuff, and he's earned a spot to be in broadcasting.
Yeah.
But I mean, in a way, his time's kind of come. He's been doing it for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? And we've heard every Darrell Waltrip story there is for him to tell. You know what I'm saying? You get a fresh guy in there, and you hear all new stories. You know what I'm saying? I think
somebody had even said, like, maybe he's just been disconnected from the driving end of it for so long.
Yeah, well, I mean that too, but he's also. We heard every single one of his stories. It's time to hear someone else's stories.
One of the things too is to the point now where, like, our generation, we were the last to see him race. Anybody younger than us never even seen the guy race. So they're like, who the hell is this guy up there?
Oh, I'd be like,
but I the idea, don't get rid of him totally. I mean, take him off the TV broadcast, but how great would he be as like a NASCAR Barbara Walters? Like, he could sit down 4 or 5 times a year with some drivers and do like an hour-long interview with them, and they can broadcast that somewhere.
When he gets serious, it's not so bad. The boogie boogie
I think he'd be great at that.
Yeah. And thinking of it that way, Scott, yeah, I would be down for that, and he would still have a part, because I just see, like, I like Larry McReynolds, and he's very, still involved with what's going on, and he's like, well, the reason the teams do this, Darrell, is because, and he, you got to change the Earl first. But he's still involved, and having like Dale Jr. get involved or Jeff Gordon, they are very recently out of the sport or out of the driving seat, so they're going to have I think a better input or a better knowledge of what is happening to the cars today than DW would, is more what I was going to get at. So.
Yeah, I agree with that. But maybe they're keeping the older guy in there for the history end of it. I don't know.
Well, to be the Earl Krause.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, for lack of better terms, yeah.
All right, going back to our show a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about Road Atlanta, and that there, it was owned by Randy Lanier, and there's a little racetrack across the street called Lanier National Speedway. It's in Gainesville, Brazelton, Georgia. 3/8 mile dirt oval, 1982 to 1986, 3/8 mile paved oval, 1987 to present, also known as Lanier Raceway. Track is located across the street from Road Atlanta Motorsports Center road course. Track builder Bud Lunsford was the 1987 RPM Promoter of the Year. That's all it says.
I didn't know we gave him an award.
Yeah.
All right. So what I was going to bring up next, the 2020 NASCAR schedule was released, and this was, for some people it might be old news already, but a lot of changes, especially regarding the playoffs. So Homestead's not going to be the track you have to win at, and all that.
Which is kind of cool. It was time to change that up too.
I agree. I think a lot of the changes were good. I think a few of them were maybe a little misinformed, and there's been a lot of people talking or expressing their opinions on the Pocono doubleheader, and most of it's been negative, and I'm kind of agreeing with it.
You know what? It's time to play a guessing game with this. Number one, I don't think it was up to Pocono. I think it was up, say, listen, you got one race weekend, you can do what you want. And they said, well, we'll run both our races. I think it was either that or they were going to lose a race. You know what I'm saying?
But do you think, now there's something else I was talking to Rick Patterson about. Do you think that they were still in a contract to get 2 races a year, and NASCAR only wanted to give them the one weekend, so they just said, we'll do both races?
Yeah, and I heard they said they know that they might not make a killing in ticket sales, but they'll still get the TV package money for 2 races.
Okay.
Another guess I have, and me and my brother talked a little bit about it. I have a feeling like the Saturday is going to be on the Roval, and the Sunday is going to be on the Tri-Oval. You ever think of them doing something like that?
That would be a lot of work. I mean, if you're lucky enough to have a backup car, you'd have to probably have that set up for the road course, because that's a lot of work to change over.
Yeah, you'd have to have 2. One.
Yeah, I mean, you would have to come with 4 cars, 2 road course cars, 2 oval track cars.
Now, what about...
Which is possible. It's no big deal.
But what about all the lower funded teams that may not have a backup car to begin with? And
well, they always say they race Pocono's Tri-Oval like a road course, so they would probably be close. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe, but
who knows? Those lower funded teams, they might bring their Pocono car to Watkins Glen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we don't even know. They might. Yeah, they might. You don't even know it.
Yeah.
But what I was going to get at is if, let's say we have another brake failure, which seems to be a common theme at Pocono, and, they break the wall in half. Now they're out of a car. What are they going to do for the next day?
Well, I understand what you're saying, but when the tracks are setting their schedule, they're not worried about what the teams are going to do. They're worried about what's going to sell for them.
Yeah, but I mean, should I?
And if you remember correctly too, when Charlotte went to the roll, the guys from Pocono liked it, and they were really talking heavy about it, and they liked it, and they were talking about making one weekend a Roval race and then the other one a super speedway race. So I mean, only time will tell. But here's another thing I think what's going to happen, Josh, is now that they're going to a doubleheader weekend, I don't think they're going to have many support divisions there that weekend. Because you have the ARCA and Truck and Xfinity, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. I think what they're going to do now is they're going to take their old date and make it a doubleheader date with the lower tier series. They might have like a K&N East race. They might have a Truck race, ARCA race, and Xfinity race. They might make a big weekend by doing it that way without a Cup car. So they still have 2 NASCAR weekends.
Okay.
They can bring the modifieds back.
I'd love to see the modifieds on that track again. I'm telling you, modified tour there, a little race, like 40 lapper, 50 lapper. I'd love to go see that, man.
Well, Scott, I would just say, just in case, you might want to have your car ready to qualify there because you might be able to make it in if enough guys wreck on the first day.
For people who don't know, they used to race modifieds on the big track there. It has been done. It's not like it's never been done. So it can be done. And I think Pocono, a lot of people don't like Pocono, and I'm not going to disagree that the races are a long race, but that's still one of the places that they get good fan count there for both races.
Yeah, they always get like 90,000 there.
Texas is empty. Pocono still gets a lot of people to go to it. So,
but I tell you what, every improvement that these new kids, the grandkids, did at Pocono when they took the track over has been awesome. So I'm looking forward to see what they have up their sleeve for the 2020 season. You got to remember too, it's for 2020. It's not this year. They're still having the 2 NASCAR races this year on the weekends. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, I'm real excited to see what they got going on up there. I think they're going to make it worth your while, and I think they'll be okay. And I definitely think they're going to still have another NASCAR weekend with the Xfinity trucks and do like a double header, or like Tim said, he may even bring in the modified tour and the K&N cars. They're going to have another race weekend up there.
Yeah, I agree. And you can always be like fly on the wall too, and keep an eye. If they start adding fence to the road course in the middle, they start fixing it up. Then they're going to do something with it. Just got to keep an eye on what they're doing up there.
Yeah. Hopefully it works out. I mean, I do want it to go well. It's just I have a lot of doubts and questions, I guess. So I don't know.
I know. I took the girls, and Josh, you've been up there for the IndyCar race, and Scott goes up to Pocono for everything and anything he can. and I bought the girls there. It's good. It's a nice place to go watch a race. I don't know if I'd go there for the Cup race, to be honest with you, but for the lower divisions, it's great. You're in, you're out, plenty of room.
I had a blast with the IndyCar race. I mean, other than the Wickens getting injured, I prior to that, I was having a great time. You had driver autographs and stuff like that. You had access to the pit paddock. We were walking behind the through the pits, behind the pit, behind the team's boxes and everything. We even got to pick up a tire. I mean, there was a lot of cool stuff, a lot of really neat access. I like the track. It's incredibly fast, but they may get strung out. It may not be the best racing product, but I had a good time, and I would happily go again. I'm planning to go again for IndyCar this year.
What I like about Pocono, it's still, it's still got that almost like the fair feel to it.
Yes.
Underneath the grandstand, it's not like cookie cutter where it looks like a shopping mall now.
Mhm.
It's still old school, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I like that feel at the racetrack still.
Yeah, I'm very interested. I can't wait to see what goes on at that track in 2020, and all we can do is wait. I mean, the track itself's being pretty much tight-lipped about it, but I think the truck and Xfinity schedules come out in the next week or two too, also for 2020. So maybe we'll be able to figure out something then. See if Pocono's on there twice, or if they're still on the doubleheader weekend, or if they have a weekend on their own.
Huh.
We can always piece it together. We just got to wait for a couple more schedules to come out, and we'll figure it out. I wish them luck, man. I love Pocono too. I mean, I grew up there as a kid. It's only 3 hours from here, not even like 2.5. And I wish them well.
Yeah, same here. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be interesting.
All right. Besides Pocono on the schedule, we'll go with Josh because he likes to point things out. What is there anything that you feel should be different?
Well, a lot of people were complaining. I think about Indianapolis.
Getting 4th of July.
Yeah.
They had to try something with that race though, because
it's killing itself. Yeah.
Maybe by it's gonna be hot, real hot there. But who knows?
It was already really hot there. It's gonna be maybe hotter. I don't know.
But then again, who knows? Who knows what they have up their sleeve? They can surprise you too and race under the lights or something like that. You know what I'm saying? You just never know. It's like people panic when it first comes out, but we're only hearing half the story yet. So who knows what's going to happen on there?
I will say one thing that I would change, and this is me being opinionated and selfish. I'm just going to put that out there. Dover should have been a little bit farther back, or a little bit later in the year. They moved it to, I think, end of August, is it?
Okay.
And we went in, I think it was October last year, and it was just ungodly hot. Which, I mean, that happens. You can't control the weather, but I mean, it was ridiculously hot. I was hoping for a nice fall day and, relaxing a bit because it's supposed to be later in the, it's October. And
plus, it's a little crazy. Isn't Daytona now the last race of the regular point season?
Last race before the playoffs. And I like that because it gives somebody unexpected that chance because now you have to play it really conservative. If you're like on that bubble spot to make it in, you either have to hope that you end up winning or you have to avoid all the wrecks. I mean, that really throws a monkey wrench in it, and I like it.
I did once see. I mean, they did a rearrange. I mean, a lot of people were hoping for more short tracks to jump in, like a Rockingham or something like that, and nothing like that happened. So some people were very disappointed. And the one thing I saw on Facebook, someone said NASCAR's 2020 schedule is like rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic.
Yeah, I see what they're getting at, but I think that when you if you want to look at not so much the racing product, but if you look at the suspense and drama of who's going to make it into the playoffs and things like that, moving these tracks around, such as Daytona, honestly, I think Daytona should be in the playoffs because that's an even bigger monkey wrench. But
right. But I think didn't Talladega get moved into the playoffs?
I believe it did.
Yeah, so there's your monkey wrench, Josh.
Yeah.
You don't need to. I think Talladega got moved into the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking also if you know how you start the year with Daytona, why not end it with Daytona?
Yeah.
Kind of come full circle.
Is the Roval on there?
I think, Charlotte's Roval's in there, and I think that got moved into the playoffs as well.
I have to bring that back up. Anyway, now something else that we saw while I looked that schedule up, the Austin Wayne Self. You guys see that story?
Yeah, but then again, that was reported on April Fool's Day. I was so afraid to report on anything that happened was brought out today. But yeah, they're saying Austin Wayne Self failed a drug test.
if it was like Dale Jr. or like a big name,
yeah,
but like who cares about Austin Wayne Self?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was reported today that Austin Wayne Self failed a drug test, but I also heard that he brought that on himself. So.
Wait, brought it on himself how? Because he did drugs?
Yeah.
Because then I would be like, I agree.
I heard he did it to himself. So.
How?
Because his last name is Self. Get it?
That's a Josh Matthews joke.
That is such a Josh joke, and I'm so busy trying to look stuff up, it went right over my head. Which is
as
terrible.
far as the April Fool's one goes, I know Scott said he wasn't going to talk about it, but all you people that put that one about Kyle Busch getting fired, you all just wish he was getting fired. That ain't happening. Every time the guy climbs into the race car, he breaks another record. I don't think he's getting fired anytime soon.
I think Clint Boyer's closer to getting fired than Kyle Busch.
Clint Boyer had a good finish that way. He finished second.
Yeah, he was up there, but I meant more about everybody complaining about he did like a pissed off interview.
Yeah,
and I think he tweeted afterwards or posted something that what it's you don't know what it's like to do an interview when you're so angry you can hardly speak.
I say God bless him. I mean, at least he's got enough balls to state the way he feels.
He's kind of famous for that, so he plays into that. He's famous for just being crazy and outspoken.
And we've had that conversation. Everybody said the sport's too vanilla or too soft or too corporate. You need people like that to come in and say.
Yeah, but not only did Clint Boyer have a good second place finish, I mean, Daniel Suarez finished third. He needed a good run. It's been a while since he's finished.
I think we should mention that Hamlin got that win after 2 pit road penalties.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing to come back from that.
Yeah, but luckily they were earlier on in the race, so it gave him some time to make up or to make up for that mistake. And regarding Austin Wayne Self, the statement from the team, which is owned by his dad, AM Racing respects NASCAR's decision and will follow their direction. We expect Austin Wayne Self to return to the seat as quickly as possible. They will continue to operate as normal with a determination of driver lineup set in the coming weeks. Yeah.
But then again, if he goes to that course real quick, I mean, the series is off for a month. He might be back by the next race.
I think like Casola said something about it, like 2 weeks, and he could be done with the intervention course and all that. Which, I mean, I think it's good that NASCAR wants to try to stand by their thing and say, all right, well, here's your road to recovery, and this is what you have to do if you want to be back in the sport. But
all right, moving on. We're going to switch over to the local segment.
Yeah,
I don't know how
let's
this
do it.
got into the local segment, but Josh put astronaut Drew Fustel.
Fustel? I don't know. It's some astronaut dude was. He's
So
also
took pictures of tracks from outer space. I don't know how that's in the local section if it's in outer space, but
because it
we
wasn't
don't
like
have an outer
just
space section we can do that in.
no, because it was more local tracks and tracks that he had an interest in. And it wasn't just NASCAR tracks. I mean, I think like Nürburgring was one of them, stuff like that. He actually coordinated with the ground crew. He gave him the coordinates he wanted, and they could relay to him when the space station would be passing over those coordinates so that he could snap the photos.
Well,
And
I'm real happy to see our tax money finally got used for something.
it was on his free time, damn it.
When you're in space, there is no free time.
I sent that article to you guys at one point. Maybe I could find it and put it on the Facebook page so people could know what we're talking about.
Yeah, we should do that. I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool.
I thought it was cool too.
I would if I got to be an astronaut, which that would never happen because I'm retarded.
And you complain too much.
Moving on.
Okay, Arca crewman Jason Red Morris death. Who I don't know who that is, Josh.
It was a post I saw earlier. It was an Arca crewman known by a lot of people, not me, unfortunately. Passed away unexpectedly. I just wanted to let that out there because I know we have people that have been involved with Arca and that listen to the show, and I just.
Do you know what team he was with?
I would have to look that up.
Okay.
Because
me and Tim kind of knew this guy, and he's a staple on Long Island short tracks. Sonny the welder passed away. What was it, Ironman welding, Tim?
Yes.
We remember him from not Wall Stadium. I think he used to do the race champions at Pocono. I think he was the welder up there, as well as a long-time welder at Riverhead.
I think he used to go to all the race of champions too. Like I think he used to be at Flemington, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think he was at Flemington. Well, I don't know. He might have been the race champions at Flemington, but I know the welder at Flemington was wasn't it Phil Cox's brother?
It could have been.
The late model guy?
Maybe Sonny was just there with a Riverhead guy or something.
Yeah.
Had his truck there. No, he's definitely missed by a lot of people.
And we know the feeling is, last year we lost our welder, Linus Johnson, so another local track welder passes away, which is a shame. I know the guys from Long Island on Facebook, all the Riverhead guys were praising this guy, that he was great. A lot of guys would show up with their cars just like tacked together and have him finish it when he got there, and he was more than welcome, more than happy to do it for him. So by him passing away, that's a blow for short track racing out on Long Island. Sonny, you will be missed. My brother Tim, he went down to South Boston.
I was just going to jump in real quick. Jason Morris, he was a longtime over-the-wall crew member for Don Fikes, number 27, in the ARCA series.
Okay.
Yeah, he was killed in a highway accident.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tim drove all the way down to South Boston Speedway to do a little modified tour racing with a doubleheader with late models. Tim, how many hours trip was that down there?
It wasn't really that bad. I didn't drive. I got picked up. Ski and Tom from Long Island, the Goodale's crew, they actually stopped and picked me up, and Bailey got to go with me. So they got here to my house about 8:39, and we were at the hotel by 3. So it wasn't too bad. And then the
7 hours?
Yeah, then the hotel was like 50 minutes to the track the next day. So it was good. I had a good time. It was cool to have Bailey go down with us. We got there to the hotel. We relaxed a little bit. It was beautiful. It was like 75 degrees. I'm like, oh, this is nice, after being up here. And we went to the track the next day, and we I don't like to complain about NASCAR Tour modified racing, but it took us like an hour and a half to get signed in. It was just such a debacle with.
Oh, really? They usually have that down to.
Well, the people, yeah, they do, but now you got people down there, the southern people that don't have a license, that decide that they want to, buy a license at the track, and they're all filling out their paperwork, and they should have had another third or fourth line for that. But finally got in there. I missed the spotters meeting. It wasn't my fault because I was stuck in line. And practice, we raced at like 2:30, and I was back on the road, and I was home by 11:30 Saturday night. So as far as the travel goes, like, yes, that was my travel time.
That's a short week. That got to make the weekend feel short, though, right?
It's a lot to do in a short period of time, yeah. As far as the race goes, the place was packed. God, the place was standing. It wasn't standing room only, but there was people standing all the way around the racetrack.
Oh, that's awesome.
They're allowed to park the trucks on the back.
We did advertise if you bought your ticket early, like pre-order ticket was $10. You know how much the ticket was on race day?
$15.
Oh my God, that's a steal, man! For those.
It was for two late model divisions and us.
Just real quick, South Boston Speedway, South Boston, Virginia, quarter-mile dirt oval, August 1957 through 8/27/1961.
That's when they paved
it. Then the track turned into a 3/8 mile paved oval in 1962 to 1993. Now it's a 4/10 mile paved oval from 1994 to present. It was also known as Big Daddy's South Boston Speedway. I'm assuming that's when Big Daddy's barbecue sauce was sponsoring everything in the world and then disappeared. That was another sponsor that came into NASCAR heavy and went crazy and then disappeared on us and stopped making payments and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a 4/10 mile paved oval. I watched a little bit of the Fans Choice stuff. Track looked tight though for modifieds. It looked like a single lane racetrack. Tim, did you notice that, or was there some good passing?
We battled tight all day in practice, but when it came to the race, Eric made a lot of good moves on the outside there. I think was the top lane as good as the bottom? No, but you could pass up there surprisingly easier than I thought it was going to be, and that's what kind of got us. We were rolling the top, and it was going, and the bottom lane, I'm not going to say it wasn't going as fast, but we were gaining speed, and we were coming out of turn 4, and Jimmy was on the inside of us and put us up into the fence and broke an oil line. That's why we dropped out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
well, oil line going to the oil cooler?
That's not my department. I don't know which one it was. I never asked.
It was the flux capacitor, Scott.
And Hot Pockets was standing right next to me, as he always was, and he took blame for that. So don't anybody start MF and Jimmy Blewett until Timmy Riggleman's MFing him on the podcast. But
while we're on this subject of Jimmy Blewett, he had another great run in the modified tour. He finished third. It's 2 third places in a row. He's sitting second in points, only 1 point behind Doug Kobe for the lead in the NASCAR modified tour points. We're very proud of you, Jimmy. Please keep the work going, and hopefully you can keep this momentum going and keep doing well with the modified tour. I know how much your family would love to win that championship. I remember back in the 80s, your dad came a close second to Richie Evans one year, and it's nice to see a Blewett name back up there battling for the championship in the modified tour division.
I have a lot of people that ask me, because we are friends with Jimmy, you think he's going to do the whole thing? And we've talked about it before. Grandpa always makes a decision after about the 4th race. But besides that, I haven't seen Jimmy this focused. Like he's happy with this 21 crew. He's got something to prove, and I don't know if what the race showed on that Fans Choice, but like Jimmy was going to the front, and if you were in his way, you were getting out of his way. We'll put it that way. He's focused and he's determined right now, and it's going to be tough to beat him.
On another local note, I want to say Jamie Tomino's car. Wow,
Yes.
That thing was flying. He ran up front all day. Jamie was not driving it, which is unusual. Jamie kind of went to the car owner role, and he has Chase Dowling driving the car. And Chase qualified up front, ran up front, and finished second, right, Tim?
Yeah, he qualified second and finished second in the race. One thing about qualifying that I guess they just recently paved that track. Mm-hmm. The top 22 cars broke the track record.
Yeah, they said that track was super fast.
And me being a Jamie Tomino fan since we were little kids, I wanted him to get once we dropped out of the race, I wanted him to win, and I wanted him to get the pole after we couldn't get it. And they were just a little bit off on both. If he would have had a couple more laps, I think he might have got the win. But if the yellow didn't come out, I think Burt Myers would have had that one. But
speaking of Burt Myers, I think he's like 3rd or 4th in the points now.
He's
I wonder what
third, I think.
What's that?
I think he's 3rd. He's 3rd or 4th. Now, once Bowman Gray, there's no way. There's no way he's not.
There's no way he'll leave Bowman Gray to go chase.
There's no way. There's no way. I mean, I guess never say never, but if I had to put my money on it, I'd say no way. One thing about Burt Myers, I can say that Bailey is one thing. She was determined. Daddy, I want to meet Burt Myers. Daddy, I want to meet Burt Myers. And he drives for Eddie Harvey. Me and Scott have known Eddie Harvey. We used to ride bicycles with Eddie Harvey, back when we were kids. So that wasn't a problem. So we go over there.
Yes, believe it or not, Tim used to ride bicycles.
Yes, way back in the day. we went over there, and Burt was eating his lunch. I'm like, man, I don't want to bother the guy who was eating his lunch. And he's
was he eating a bologna burger?
Yes, he was, matter of fact. And he's like, what's up, Tim? I'm like, what's going on? I go, my daughter would like to meet you. He put his sandwich down, and he sat with her for a couple seconds, and he talked to her, and he made her feel comfortable and important, and that meant a lot to me. And that's why he's as popular as he is, because he does stuff like that. He's just a class act.
Wait, did she talk more than she does when she's on the podcast?
Yeah, she did.
That's good though. I mean, I'm glad she got.
Tim, was Bailey allowed in the pits there?
Oh yeah, $50. So she got in.
Oh Jesus. What happened when you went up in the spotter stand? Where'd Bailey go?
Well, Eric Goodell's wife and his 2 sons were there, and all the wives and the girlfriends of the pit crew, they all take care of her. And she grew up around the racetrack. She knows where to go and where not to go. For the practice, she sat on the back of the trailer, in a chair, and just watched the practice from there. And then for the feature, she went in the grandstands and sat with the Goodells, the wives, and the mom, and all that.
Do you give her a headset or a scanner?
Yeah,
or anything?
Yeah. Waddell gave me. She had a better radio than most spotters up there, thanks to Waddell. She had the best stuff you could buy.
Now, another highlight that's been going around the computer from South Boston was, I don't know if you saw it or not, Tim, because it was in the late model race. Did you see that guy come out of the pits? He was a chassis builder, and he tried to jump in that guy's car to punch him.
I was actually on the road going home by then, but we got the video of it.
Oh, the modifieds ran first?
Second. I think that happened in the race after us, I think.
Okay.
If it happened in the race before us, I was eating bologna burgers with Hot Pockets, so I didn't see it anyway.
How much is a bologna burger down there?
Don't know. I got to ask Hot Pockets. He paid for it. Apparently, from what I was told, he was the guy's crew chief, and I guess those 2 guys have had issues before. And he went out.
Philip Morris and Liam Pullum, right?
Yeah. Those are the 2 best drivers there.
Yeah, they're awesome down there. I heard it was the chassis builder.
Maybe. I guess he went out and he threw his radio at the guy's windshield first, and then he stuck his head in the car and was trying to rip the ignition box apart.
He was going for the ignition box. Old John blew it the 3rd trick.
Yeah, and I guess the guy took off and he came flying out of the car. I saw the video. That could have been ugly.
Here's what I would have done. I'm going to let one of my secrets fly here.
Wait. What you would have done as what, a driver or the?
This is what I would have did if I was strapped in that car as a driver and there was a guy reaching inside my car trying to pull my ignition wires off or my MSD box wires off. You take your fire extinguisher, you point it, and you spray it right in the guy's face. That's how you protect yourself when you're in the race car.
Okay.
That's a little tip for everybody. Always mount your fire extinguisher where you can grab it, because that's your tool when you're strapped in the car. That's your protection.
I can't wait to see you spray Elliot with your fire extinguisher.
I'm going to spray him as he walks in the back gate just to get it over with.
To go back to the fans, there was a lot of people from New Jersey there. I
saw that on Facebook also.
Yeah, Wall Stadium, race car fans were. I actually saw an old school black Flowtech shirt with the Cobra on the back.
Oh yeah.
I don't know who that guy was. I saw.
It wasn't a Mexican that works at Bloats, because I see those guys wearing them all the time.
Yeah, no, Pedro's got one of those, but no, it wasn't Pedro. I see 2 old school Wall Stadium shirts from when that other guy. What's that guy was running the track for a while?
Jim Morton.
Yeah,
yes.
2 of those shirts I saw there. I saw a lot of Jimmy Blewett shirts. I saw a lot of Dick Barney shirts. Glenn Osborne was there. Him and his family came down for the weekend, and I saw Kenny Johnson was there.
We're talking about 2020 schedules for the Cup Series. I'm telling you what, after 2 successful Southern trips early in the year for the modifieds down there, I mean, they packed Myrtle Beach and they packed South Boston now. I think we're going to see more Southern tracks on the modified tour schedule next year. I mean, they're proving that they're worth their the money that they have to pay to be there, because they are packing the place, and it seems like people are into the modifieds. I think the twin bill with the late models and the modifieds is a big thing for early season stuff down there before the racing really gets going up in the Connecticut and New Hampshire and Massachusetts area.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because we usually spot from turn 1 there. There's a building, we stand on top of it. Well, we went up there, and halfway through practice, there was 33 of us up there.
Oh my God.
Now, South Boston's the car counts, down south are like 12.
Yeah.
So they weren't expecting that. So we all went up there, and like halfway through during the practice session, as it's going on, NASCAR's like, well, you got to move from here. We're going underneath the tower on the grandstands. Now, I'm waiting for a picture. I'm going to post it on the board tomorrow as soon as Hot Pocket sends it to me. To get from the ground to the top of this building is like 4 flights of stairs. So for me to get down those stairs, across the track, and back up the other, I told Eric Goodale on the radio, yo, boy, they're making us move. You may or may not get back out on the racetrack because you can't go out on the track unless you have a spotter. So luckily, he might have this 4 or 5 laps, but he wasn't too bad. I got over there pretty good. So anyway, I get over there, and now we're sitting in the grandstands, and I'm sitting on the top row, and right to my left, I sit on the end of where, so nobody has to be on the left-hand side of me. And there's an old gentleman, Southern gentleman there with his cigar and his little briefcase of beer or whatever. You can tell like he's been going to the races for a long time, like a staple. I go, what do you think about the modified tour? He goes, I've been coming to this racetrack for 35 years. He goes, this is the most people I've ever seen here, except for back when they were racing Grand National cars and stuff there. He goes, and I go, well, why do you think that? He goes, because most people, they go there and there's 10 cars in the race. There's 33 modifieds there.
They started them all too, right?
Yeah. So, the fans, for $15 to see a field like that, when you normally go there on a Saturday and there's 12 cars.
Like you said, it was the perfect storm. I mean, the late models were there, which are huge in the South. The modifieds were there, which is something new to some people in the South, and they are, there's some still traditional people that remember the modifieds from back in the day, and it was beautiful weather. It was a perfect.
It was
perfect
beautiful
day for racing.
Yeah.
So good for them that it all worked out for them. How did the pit road work though? Was the pit road tight?
No, it actually goes all the way around. Like Martinsville goes all the way around the track, both sides.
Okay.
And we just basically used the front stretch. We had no problem pitting at all. It was fine. The big stalls are big enough, and there's plenty of them. And they go all the way around.
All right, so that's our little thing on South Boston. Your next race is what, Tim? The
Icebreaker this weekend.
Icebreaker at Thompson this weekend. So we wish you luck up there, and that's a good track for the Goodales too. So hopefully you get the win up there. Or it'd be great to see Jimmy win up there. That'd be awesome too. But a lot of good guys run good at Thompson, so that's a very, very tough race. How many laps is that race now?
I'm gonna have to say probably 150.
150.
I don't know for sure, but that's usually.
They still have the 300 up there, the Thompson 300.
No, they don't do that no more.
They don't do the 300 anymore.
No.
Okay. We're moving on to.
Josh, the Bologna burgers. You asked about them before.
Oh, yeah.
What was your question about that? You remember?
How are
What do you put on your bologna burger, Tim?
I usually put on my bologna burger is.
How's it come? It just comes plain, and then you got to put your own stuff on.
Yeah, you can get it plain, or you can get it with pretty much anything you want on them. They can put chili on them, all that stuff. They put chili on everything down south.
Yeah.
I get mine with yellow American cheese, yellow mustard, like French's mustard, and fried onions. But they were out of fried onions by the time we got over to get them, so it was just yellow American cheese and mustard. And I don't know, how they say like pizza and bread are better in New York and New Jersey because of the water. I don't know. I don't. The bologna is better there. I'm not trying to sound like a fat ass, but it is better there. I don't know what they do to it. I don't eat bologna here in New Jersey. It was good. It couldn't be too much money if Hot Pockets paid for them. So.
Jeez.
Now, is that as popular as the Martinsville hot dog down there? Is everybody eating it?
Yes. Yeah. The line was around the corner. Which is another thing. The promoter's got to. These people pay $10 to get in. They still have money to eat. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly it.
They make it on that end. They make it on the food.
You charge them $30, $35. They're packing a lunch to save a little money.
Yeah. I just thought I was going to say it was cool. It looked like Brian O'Shea was down there at South Boston as well.
Yes, I meant to say that. Yeah, I meant to say that.
Does Brian O'Shea plan on racing up here? He's been on every modified tour racing and not worrying about his factory stock stuff.
Well, that actually ties into our next topic, which is practice at Wall. Brian was busy with South Boston. I think his car is coming together, and he'll be fine for that. But his sister, Kristen O'Shea, practiced in
she did. I got to watch her a little bit. She did fine for her first time out of track. I think she even did like a 17 too, which is
for
like the
first time out. That's not bad.
That's pretty good. They had a rookie practice from 10 to 11, so she did all the rookie practices, and then when the regular cars went out on the track, they loaded up and left. So yeah, she got some laps. She got her feet wet. I heard she really, really liked it. So let's see if Tim has 2 cars there this year with his son and his daughter.
How old is she?
Uh,
She's older than Brian, isn't she?
no.
No?
She's a little bit younger, so she's probably 20
Okay.
or thereabouts now. I don't know. You're a lot younger than me. That's all I know.
So yeah, Wall Stadium had open season practice Saturday. It was just like Tim said down in South Boston. It was a beautiful day. Up here, it was a beautiful day for Saturday. It was
Saturday
degrees.
was gorgeous, absolutely
It was
gorgeous.
it was a perfect practice day. The track wasn't super fast, but it wasn't bad. I mean, the track was real good. I mean, I rolled right out my first practice with my Turkey Derby tires on, knocked off a 16.1, and was pretty happy with it, and said, "Well, that's enough for today." You know.
Well, I quit for this year.
Yeah. So no, the car was good. We had about 10 or 11 factory stocks there. I love going to the first practice, man. It's just Channel 12 News was there, and they interviewed me, and I told the guy, I said, "This is like the first day of school. Everybody shows up with the new clothes on and a fresh haircut, you know, meaning that the race cars all here new and shiny."
Mhm.
But then you see cars in different stages of build too. Like my cars were all done, you know, lettered, ready to go racing. Like some people were there, their cars were painted but not lettered yet, and then there were some people there that their cars weren't even painted or lettered. You know, so it's pretty cool seeing that, you know, people at different. You know, some guys are missing a Nerf bar or something like that. Like it's not 100% done, or you know, has 2 hood pins in and no scuff plates and stuff like that. You know,
That reminds me. I like that because that reminds me of the days of like when we used to go to New Egypt on Wednesday, and then they would have to be at, you know, somewhere else on Saturday. If they wrecked on Wednesday, when they got to the track on Saturday, they'd have a new door on it, but it'd be yellow. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The Nerf bar wouldn't be quite right. It just makes me think of stuff like that.
It also reminds me too, back in the day when NASCAR had preseason testing. You know, the Cup guys would show up with their car's primer and just like their name on the side of the door. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was cool. It was a lot of fun over there, seeing everybody again. You know, getting to see people that you haven't seen all winter, and you know, it's weird when you get there too. It's like, even though we haven't been there since Turkey Derby, it feels like you never left. Yeah, it's the same old stuff, parking in the same old spot, talking to the same old people, complaining about the same old stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like we never left.
The crowd looked pretty good.
I tell you what, there was a lot of people in the grandstands watching. You know, a lot of people stopped.
Mom said they had the concession stand was open and everything.
Yeah. A lot of people stopped to watch. You know, like I said, it was a beautiful day. Everybody wants to see the shiny race cars and see cars out on the track.
What was the attitude in the pits, Scott?
What's that?
What was the attitude like in the pits?
Everybody seemed fine to me. I mean, everybody seemed pretty happy about everything.
I mean, well, I know without Big George there, it had to be a little, you know, off, I'm sure.
You know what? I mean, I hate to say it never really crossed my mind. I wanted to look around and see if there was any new security around, and I really didn't see anything.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know it's a practice. It's not a night where you're going to see that many fights and stuff, but still, I just, you know, I was thinking about that earlier. Just
no, I mean, and
unfortunately, life goes on.
Yeah.
But
how did Channel 12 News? Why were they there?
They were just there, you know, showing that, you know, because spring is near and weather is warming up and the racetrack's opening back up and everything. It's a pretty cool news clip. I think Josh put the news clip on RPM podcast Facebook. So if you want to check
it's on there. Yeah. That's great because, I mean, we've talked about it before. There's people that, you know, you'll be in the grocery store and you'll have a race car shirt on. I'll be like, "Oh, where do you go to the races at?" You'd be like, "Wall Stadium." They'd be like, "I thought that place closed."
I have a quick funny story about that. You know, they interviewed me on Channel 12 News, and then Sunday morning I was going to Big Diamond and I stopped at Quick Check with the dirt car. And the guy says, "Hey, man, you race Wall Stadium?" The guy pumping my gas. He's like, "Hey, you race at Wall Stadium?" I'm like, "Yeah, I was there yesterday. You know, yesterday was practice. This is actually my dirt car. I'm going to a dirt track out in Pennsylvania." He's like, "Yeah, I thought that was you. I mean, what do you mean by that?" He's like, "Oh, I saw you on Channel 12 News last night." So it was pretty cool, you know.
The comment I always got when I was filling up getting gas was, "Oh, demolition derby." No, we go in circles. It just feels like a moving demolition derby.
Now they announced a new track announcer or something.
He was walking around introducing himself. He's a young kid. It was Tim something.
Oh, Cattle Famo?
Yeah.
Oh, does he have any background in?
Yeah, he hosts NASCAR Today with Tim Catalfamo on WRSU 88 point something.
Local to New Jersey.
Did the RPM podcast once, Josh.
Yeah, he was a guest on our podcast. A while back. I want to say almost was it a year or 2 years ago at this point.
And he did tell me he's more than welcome. He would love to come on and join us on here.
I'd love to have him back on. Scheduling is, always a little iffy. Although I think we've gotten it down to a Monday, Tuesday kind of deal.
Yeah, maybe we'll reach out to him this week. Maybe we'll see if he'll join us next Monday. But he's a great kid. He asked me a ton of technical questions about the race car. He wanted to learn more about the race car, so he knew what he was talking about. I took the hood off, the trunk lid, showed him everything. Told him how they were built. And what
he'll
they
be in
were.
love with the factory stock soon enough.
Yeah. Reminded him that the factory stocks are the premier division. And, now, he's a great kid, full of enthusiasm. I think he's going to do great over there. He was actually walking around with Earl Krause, and Earl Krause was introducing him to everybody. It was a great day. I mean, there wasn't a super ton of cars, but it's early yet. I think there'll be more cars there this weekend. I'm not going to go back this weekend. Nancy has to work. I actually have to bring my car to one of my sponsors' grand openings in Hal. So I'll be over there. I might stop at the track just to pick up tires and get that done and out of the way with. But my cars are good. They're ready to go. I'll have them ready for opening night. But Wall is having practice again this Saturday. It'll be free again for the grandstands. And plus, it was only $20 to get in the pits and $25 with a car. So there was a lot of people that normally don't go in the pits. They were there. You didn't need a pit license. You just paid $20. So it was cool seeing some other people in the pits that are usually in the grandstand side.
Now, Scott, was your safety inspection already done?
Yeah, I had Roger come here and do both the cars right at the house.
Okay, and then did you do tech inspection for the motor to get it sealed?
My motors weren't rebuilt this winter.
Oh, okay.
I had a fresh motor in for Spooky, and Nancy's motor can still go another year, so my motors were sealed already.
Okay.
Was that fire suit debacle addressed at all?
I never heard nothing about the fire suits. I got my sticker on my helmet and my Hans device. I got a funny Hans device story. Jerry Koenig, he put on a little weight this winter. He literally just walked over to my car, looked at my car, took my Hans device and put his Hans device in my car. I'm like, all right, what's this guy doing? Jerry's like, we're trading a Hans device. He's like, I got too fat and you got too skinny. I have a medium Hans device that don't fit no more. You got a large one. I'm taking yours. I'm like, all right, sounds good to me. And you know what? He was right. I picked up his Hans device, the medium one, and it looked so small to me. It looked like a little kid's. I'm like, hold on, Jerry, this ain't going to fit me. I put it on. It fit perfect. And his was brand new. He just bought it a year ago. So he walked away with my Hans device, and I kept his. So
I was going to say, aren't those dated like everything else? Make sure you got a good one out of it.
Yeah, no, his was already past that, the 2019 sticker on. His has a year left on it. You got to recertify, I think, every 2 years, every 5 years. But mine actually has to be recertified next year. His is good for a while. So it was a fair trade the way I look at it. So I just told him, I said, listen, if I ever gain my weight back, I'm coming back for my Hans device. It was just funny how he did. He just walked right over and said, here, we're trading. This was yours now, and this one's mine. And then he explained to me why. It was pretty cool.
Well, did anybody get into the fence at all?
I saw a picture of a legend car pretty hard into the fence, but I wasn't there. I literally got there like 11 o'clock, practiced like twice, and Nancy went out I took Nancy's car out once, and then she went out 2 or 3 times, and I had to go dirt racing on Sunday, and I still had to change the oil and do some work on the dirt car. We were literally out of there by 2:30. I was on my way home to come home.
After putting all new bodies on, do you have any tire issues or anything?
Nope. No tires rubbed or nothing. It was pretty good. I mean, I bent about a little bit just to be safe, but now everything went super smooth. So we were real happy with the cars. We got our pictures taken with Jim Smith. He came back and did a little photo shoot with us. So we're ready to scratch them up now. They're all pretty and everything, but all the pictures are taken and all the memories are made, and now it's time to race them.
Was there any modifieds there?
Ferrero was there with his team with Eric Mariello. Ron Freese was there. Harry Reid was there. I think Kenny Van Winkle was there. Chris Andretta was there. There was quite a few modifieds there. I mean, there was a good turnout in pretty much all the divisions there.
So Richie Cooper there with that car?
I heard he's like racing Stafford or something like that. I don't know.
He said he was going to run Wall.
No, really? Yeah, no. If he was, I didn't see him. Like I said, I really went there, did my thing, and left. Helped Nancy a little bit and got in and out of there.
I'm glad it was a good turnout. I'm glad everything went well.
I know who wasn't there. Josh Matthews.
Womp womp. Brian O'Shea wasn't there either.
Yeah, he's a modified tour crew member now, not a factory stock racer. Right?
Yeah, I'm just lazy.
I think it's great though. I think it's great that Brian loves the modified so much, and he is a mechanic. him going to crew those cars, I think
I'll
it's
tell you
crazy.
what, right
gonna
now,
learn
the
a lot.
a lot of the modified tour people, if you're smart with a race car, there's a lot of people looking for crew help right now.
Yeah.
There's a
He
shortage
helps
of it
Timmy
right now.
Solomito, right? He was down there helping Timmy Solomito.
Yeah.
That,
And
yeah,
But I
I don't
also know that Brian's a crew member with Andrew Krause too. So maybe when Andrew, you keep an eye out, Tim. You might see Brian up at Thompson with helping Andrew, because I think Thompson's going to be Andrew's first race.
yeah.
All right, moving on from wall practice.
Before practice, the Sunday series practice starts this coming Sunday.
Right. Yeah, we put that in there.
So what are you doing about that, Tim? You're going to be up at Thompson. You're not going to be able to take the girls over there?
Lisa and Jamie Wolf will take the girls over there.
Okay, cool.
The carts are having a little seating issue. I don't want to butcher this guy's last name, but Charlie D. Tommaso, is that his last name?
Yeah, Charlie D. Yeah.
He was kind enough to give me 2 seats. For some reason, and those 2 did not fit, so we're waiting for a third. We ordered a third one. The problem is first to order them online, the girls can't sit in them, and the girls are shaped a little different than the boys are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Nancy had the same trouble getting fire suits too.
Yeah. So, the seats that Charlie let me try, they fit the girls, but they were too big for the carts for some reason. So we're hoping for the third one. Besides that, we're ready to go. They'll be there.
Good. All right, we're moving on to my Sunday race at Big Diamond. We left here about 9 a.m. on Sunday morning. We got up there. It's about a 3-hour haul. We got up there around noon. Practice was 1 to 4. We
That's
practiced.
a long practice.
There was a lot of divisions there: modifieds, crate modified, sportsman.
Okay.
There was a sportsman there, Tim. I should have took a picture of it, but man, I was so busy with my own stuff. There was a sportsman car there with an old Jimmy Blewett body on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it had the 76 on it.
You should have taken a picture of that.
Yeah. It still had the Blewetts on it and all that stuff. Jimmy must have gave his body away. It might have been Matt Stangl or somebody like that. I really don't know. But yeah, I remember it going by, and it was there all day practicing. There were sprint cars there practicing, like an IMCA modified. There tons of stuff there practicing. One of the big shocks to me when we pulled into the track, the track had brand new clay on it, and it was totally different than what we ran last year. Last year it was like a dark gray.
I was going to say that.
This time it was like a bright orange clay. It almost looked like
it was really racy, though.
Yeah, and I'm like, man, that doesn't look right, But then when we went out for practice, it was the best surface I ever raced on. I didn't see like one rock or stone in or nothing. It was incredible. I mean, it was smooth. It was grippy. It was fast. It was a great surface. So I want to say good job to Big Diamond on the new clay. I heard they got it from like the Lehighton area in Pennsylvania or something like that. I'm always amazed where they get all this clay from. A lot of people say like if it's a darker clay, it's been dredged out of a river.
Yeah, it's old river basin. Yeah.
Yeah, old river basin. If it's the sandy looking stuff, they just find like a field somewhere where there's a lot of clay and they scrape it up. They said it took 106 truckloads to do the track.
Well, that's what they said. The clay's not the money; it's the diesel fuel to get it all there.
Trucking it there, the trucking. But yeah, it was a great day there. It was cold though. It was sunny and everything, and it looked like a nice day. But boy, when you got out of the truck, the wind was blowing. It was cold up there. Warm at Wall on Saturday, freezing at Big Diamond on Sunday.
So Scott, real quick, what does your book say about Big Diamond? I'm just curious.
Big Diamond used to be a quarter-mile track, and they changed it, I think, in the 70s to
why is it called Big Diamond?
It's called Big Diamond because it's literally built in an old coal mine. And you know how coal, if it
becomes diamonds
pressurized for 100,000 years, it turns into a diamond, So I think that's why it's called Big Diamond. I'm not 100% sure, though. It's pretty cool, Josh, because it is an old coal mine. You can even see like some of the old coal mine equipment still there, like
it's all around the track, yeah.
Yeah, it's all around the track. I mean, some of that equipment is for grading the track, but there's still old equipment left from the coal mining days. And even when you're walking around in the pits and in the grandstands, if you look in the rocks and the stones, you can see coal. There's coal mixed in it. You can walk around and pick up chunks of coal all day long up there.
Well, there is a video of this race on the RPM podcast Facebook page, so you can go on there. And whoever does that does an excellent job.
You know, he actually races there, that guy. I got to know him a little bit. He does Grandview and he does Big Dime, but he also races in the Roadrunner division. And for $20, you can, excuse me, Cat. You can buy his videos. I actually have one right here. It's called Flash Racing Videos. Check him out, man. He's got awesome videos. They're $20, man. He does a great job. He's a great guy. He's a racer. He says all the money he makes from his videos goes into his race car. So you're also helping a racer out.
He does an awesome job, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he really does. And he even, like, it's like watching TV. Like, even the starting lineup, he has all our pictures in there and our names and everything. And he's tied right into the
loudspeaker.
The PA system, so you can hear it and everything. I buy one from him every time just to help him out, and I like watching.
So I need to start charging you, Scott?
Well,
you ever get him done?
That's a bad subject, Josh.
Well, Scott, actually, I wanted to mention this weekend. Actually, it was Sunday. I got through the heat races. So that's
we're 4 months in. We got heat Turkey Derby done.
Yeah, well, the point is, I started it, and I'm hoping over the next couple days to get the feature done from Friday's race, and then I'll move on to Sunday's race.
All right.
So I just want to let you know I am working on it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
it's just a funny story. I just want to tell everybody listening. After Turkey Derby, we raced on Friday, and I rushed home to post my YouTube video and send it over to Josh, thinking he was going to make this video right away. Here we are. 4 or 5 months later, it's still not done. So I'm glad I really busted my butt thinking that over.
I just wanted to get the video before you deleted it.
I tell you what, though, I was disappointed. I didn't bring my GoPro. That's how nice that clay was. Like, I gave up trying to GoPro from my in-car camera and the dirt enduros because they just got covered with dirt or it's so bumpy they break off and I lose them and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But that track was so smooth and not dusty at all. I think I only used one tear off in a 50 lapper.
Because you were out front the whole time, Scott.
Yeah, well, that helps too. Big Diamond Raceway, Pottsville, Minersville, Pennsylvania. 1/3 mile dirt oval, August 1972 to 1994. Then it turned into a 3/8 mile dirt oval from 8/26/1994 to present, located west of Pottsville. That's all it says, but I tell you what, it's a big 3/8 mile. It's probably 3/8 around the bottom. If you ran the top, man, it's damn near a half mile.
That's a pretty cool track. I like that place.
It's an awesome racetrack. Yeah. It's kind of set up like Wall Stadium, like where you walk in from the parking lot and you're up top, and then the track's down. You don't have to climb up into the grandstands. You actually climb down into the grandstands. And it's cool when you are in the grandstands. You're on top of a mountain, so you're overlooking the valley, and you can see mountains for miles. Even when you watch this video, if you look into the back of the video, you can see the mountains. It was a crystal clear day. It was really cool, man. It's a great track. It's a little bit in the middle of nowhere outside of Minersville, Pennsylvania, but
that's a perfect spot for a racetrack, though.
It really is. It really is, and it's weird too because when you're pulling in there, when we were kids, we used to sneak into all the gravel pits around here to go four-wheeling and ride motorcycles and stuff. It almost feels like you're sneaking into a gravel pit because the entrance is like an old gravel pit entrance, and you're pulling. And it's quite a ways off the road. So you got to go up this road, and it brings you back into the racetrack. It feels like you're sneaking into a gravel pit to go racing, but they do a great job up there. I really enjoy racing up there. We only had 14 enduro cars. I think 13 started. I started fourth. I did fall back a little bit when the track was wet. I always fall back when the track's wet. I'm not really good when the track's super slick. I wait for it to dry off, and then I catch back up. And I was able to take the lead like around lap 15 or something like that. And I was able to hold off Lee Allen. Lee Allen's always super fast up there, and I was able to get the win. And the one thing I was pretty proud of, it was a motor we built ourselves. It's not a store-bought motor or from an engine builder or anything. We actually built it ourselves, and the thing ran awesome.
So Scott, how did you beat Lee Allen? If he's usually faster, did his rear brake again?
No, he ran very well. He got caught up with he was leading, and I was running third right behind him. He got tied up with a lap car, and we were able to pass him. We got tied up with a lap car, but that was early in the race. It was like lap 15, and he did catch up to me. He got to probably about 2 or 3 car lengths from me. He caught up, and then I made some great moves in lap traffic where it took him a little longer to get through. And when I won by like half a straightaway to 3/4 of a straightaway, and my car was super fast. Now I got that 350 motor in there. Last year I had the 305, my car's running really well.
You have to mention that guy in the 74 from the video. He ran pretty well.
Yeah, Derek Jones. He's been involved in racing. Actually, the car I have is one of his old cars. He built a beautiful car. Billy Cole actually put the body on that car, Tim, and the Nerf bars and all that stuff. Brand new car. He was leading for a while. He was way out front for a while. He's an old time drag racer that's trying to do some dirt racing, and it was great to see him up there. He did run good. He ended up finishing third.
It was cool to see Kevin Flores up there.
Kevin Flores was up there, and Wall Factory stock driver. They call him Rockstar, John Barone, and his brother, Gary Barone. They're also Wall Stadium Factory stock guys. They bought their Wall Stadium Factory stocks up there. They put the limited slip posi rears in them, and they just put screen instead of windshield in it, and they went racing, and they loved it.
Yeah.
We're actually going back this Friday. This Friday we have another race up there.
Wow.
So we go right back up there this Friday.
That's awesome. Well, Scott, congratulations on the win. What number win is this?
Nancy says 86. I'm saying it's number 87, but she says she's got documentation. If I had that damn notebook, Josh, I would know for sure.
Did you start a notebook?
No, I still haven't got one. I got to pick one up. But yeah, she's saying it's 86. I'm saying it's 87. We're going to sit down and figure that out.
We are taking donations here at the RPM podcast for Scott's notebook.
See, it's pretty important exactly what number it is, because everybody's saying once I win 100, I got to retire. So
I'm sure
maybe I will say it's 86, so I get the race a little bit longer. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure Earl Krause probably knows.
Yeah. But I mean, I love racing up there. Everybody's so nice. We have so much fun racing up there.
I hate to ask you this question, but was there more than 10 people in the grandstands?
I tell you what, there was, and there wasn't, because a lot of people came in the pits. I'm telling you, Tim, that wind was whipping, man. It was brutal. The wind was brutal. A lot of people came into the pits. They let you in after a while, There was a few people there, but not a lot.
Scott,
when we pulled in at 12 o'clock, practice and started one. There was actually people like tailgating in the parking lot, like cooking breakfast and stuff like that. I'm like, man, they're here for an early practice tailgate,
Well, first one of the year, probably,
Yeah, it's a cool track, man. It really is.
I know. I enjoy it there. It's well worth the trip.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take a ride out with Scott one time and check it out. Scott, I took your advice and I got the Gatorade Zero Sugar.
Okay, it's good, right?
Yeah. This is the first one I'm trying. This is the Glacier Cherry.
Yeah, so... I got the same bottle right here, Josh.
So
this one is my favorite out of all of them.
I got Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee.
That got
caramel swirl.
It's pretty good, Scott. So thank you for that. Maybe I can finally lose a couple pounds. Scott.
And one quick thing before we leave Big Diamond. Let's chalk them up to the cheap ass thing that we talked about last time. There was no trophies handed out, So
really,
anybody try the food?
I think George Reynolds had something, but I never even thought about the food. I mean, we usually hit the Wawa on the way out of there. The food places were open. I never even walked over there though.
That's real quick. We got off the subject before. Wawa. We're South Boston. I'm sure Scott, you've been by that, but anybody doesn't know, that's like, that's still like the dirty South. It's still, there's nothing. And we're driving, and I'm like, man, I sure wish there was a Wawa somewhere around here. It wasn't another half a mile. I was like, woo! Like an oasis. There's the first Wawa I've ever seen in, the middle of South Boston. I'm like,
I tell you what, when I'm down south, I look for those Royal Farms. They're starting to open up around here.
Somebody told me that's a reincarnation of Cumberland Farms.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They're really nice inside.
They're popping up down south all over the place.
Yeah, I always try to find the Royal Farms, and they are starting to open up around here. They're being built around here. Matter of fact, I took a car down to Egg Harbor Township for Josh's cousin today, and when I got off
go-kart champion, right?
Yeah. When I got off of exit 36 on the Parkway, there was a Royal Farms almost complete, and they said they're building one right in Bricktown where the Jersey Paddler was. So
okay.
They're starting to invade Quick Check and Wawa's territory up here. They're good.
Although I did like the Jersey Paddler, I just couldn't afford anything in there.
Maybe that's why they're out of business. All right, switching to Bridgeport, the Doug Hoffman Memorial. A lot of people that were messaging me on Saturday asking how practice was going. I said, it's going good. Why aren't you here? And they said, well, we're on our way to Bridgeport. Tim talked about there was a lot of people from Wall Stadium all the way down at South Boston, but there was also a lot of people from Wall Stadium down at Bridgeport. for the Doug Hoffman race, the Doug Hoffman Memorial race. Place looked packed. Lee Allen ran the outlaw stocks. He finished fourth. Congratulations to Lee Allen on finishing fourth down there.
Looks like
he did
Rich Stinson got the win in the outlaw stocks there. Just want to make a mention of that.
He had a little bit crazy story about something that happened in practice. Did you hear about that, Josh?
I maybe, but I don't recall it.
Me and Tim are friends with a guy named Darren Cox. We grew up with him. We knew Darren for a long time.
Okay.
Josh, I'm sure you know who Darren Cox is also. Mm-hmm. They said his complete transmission fell out of the race car and onto the racetrack during practice.
Huh. Well.
He only had it mounted to the bell housing, with the bolts from the transmission, and the ears broke off the transmission. So like the ears were still bolted to the bell housing, and the whole transmission fell out on the ground. And another guy ran it over and ripped his oil pan off, and it was like a big mess. So they said, Lee Allen's been racing as long as me, if not longer. He says the first time he's ever gone down the racetrack and see the whole transmission laying on the racetrack. So that was a little bit of a scary moment.
Well, I'm looking at the results here, and it says did not start. Mike Kramer, Darren Cox, and Andrew Jocelyn. So, yeah.
He must have been tied up in the transmission deal. Do you have the results for the modified race? I know Billy Pouch won, which is kind of ironic.
Billy Pouch got the win for the 60 over Memorial. Second was Davey Salmons. Third was Jimmy Horton. Craig Von Doren in fourth, and Dwayne Howard in fifth. Billy Pouch Jr. was in sixth there. So
that's pretty amazing that Davey Salmon's good for him, man. That's a great finish for him. I mean,
that top five, they're veterans, all of them guys, except for Danny. I mean, that's good.
Yeah, and it's pretty ironic that Billy Pouch won that, because back when me and Tim were kids, either you were a Doug Hoffman fan or you were a Billy Pouch fan. You weren't both. You know what I'm saying? They were heavy rivals. So to watch Billy Pouch win that race in honor of his rival was pretty cool.
Well, let me make mention of something in what I think is significant here. Did not qualify.
Oh, I know.
We have Bill Lasco, Tommy Errico, Brett Ballard, Neil Williams, Roger Manning, and Jeff Strunk.
Yeah, Neil Williams is a big winner down at Bridgeport.
And Jeff Strunk's a hell of a race car driver.
Yeah, that's almost like Jimmy Blewett and like some other big names like Anthony Cecily not qualifying for a race at Wall Stadium.
Yeah, but I mean, just to have that many people get sent home.
That's dirt racing, though, man. Dirt really gets a lot of cars. You know?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying that's a decent, and there were actually even more that didn't qualify for the 602 crate sportsman. Which it's sportsman, so what are you going to do? Steve Kemery got the win there.
They were probably better off not qualifying because their car was in home field.
Their cars went home.
Going back to what Scott said, like he said, when we grew up, you either you loved Doug Hoffman and you hated Billy Pouch, or vice versa. And anybody that follows me on social media knows that I was on the Doug Hoffman side of that. And it was cool to see. He deserved. If anybody deserved to win that race, it was cool to see him win that race. Craig Von Doren would have been another one. Jimmy Horton, of course. Any of those guys. But it's kind of cool to see Billy Pouch win.
Everybody's talking about me retiring. I mean, those guys are a lot older than me. I watched them race when I was a kid, and they're still winning. So I got a lot of time left in me.
Yeah.
All right, Bridgeport Speedway, Bridgeport at the Bridgeport Fairgrounds, 5/8 mile dirt oval, 10/22/1972 to present. All right, Tim, I didn't know this. Kenny Bright built first winner, quarter-mile dirt oval, 1999 to present. That's where we run our enduro cars. The track was originally proposed in 1967, a.k.a. Statewide Speedway, a.k.a. Bridgeport Fair Speedway, a.k.a. Bridgeport Raceway. The grandstands were from Langhorne Speedway. There you go, Tim. You like a little bit of history.
I knew that.
I've been to Bridgeport. I got to race down there a couple times, thanks to Lee Allen, and I had a lot of fun. I would love to do it again sometime, but I know there's only a couple races there with the Outlaws this year, with the Outlaw stocks.
The enduro stocks? Well, no, they actually just announced that there's 4 this year, and they're moving us from the quarter mile to the 3/8.
Now, can you do those? Does your schedule allow you to do those?
I think I can make 2. I think 2 I got conflicting with Wall Stadium, and one's on a Sunday I can probably make, and or I might be conflicting with Big Diamond. I really got to look into that.
And I think it's going to depend on where Scott is in the points with that too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to worry about that. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. You know,
Yeah.
It could be a weather thing. It could be a points thing, you know, whatever.
We always have a Scott Riggleman story. I got a Tim Riggleman story about Billy Pouch. Like I said before, I didn't care for Billy Pouch. I didn't want to see him win. And him and John were teammates at Flemington with Dick Barney's car, and also with Dick Greenfield when he had the Craftsman trucks. Billy Pouch drove one and John drove the other one. We were going to Richmond, and John's like, we got to go pick up Billy Pouch. He's going to ride with us to Richmond in the motorhome. I'm like, really? I don't F that guy. I sounded like Josh. He sucks. He sucks. I don't want to ride with him. And I was young, dumb, and the whole 9 yards. And that's one of the times I learned you can't judge a book by its cover. We picked up Billy Pouch. He sat in the back of the motorhome with us, smoking cigarettes, playing video games. That's when they had that. I don't even know what console it was. It was so long ago. It had like the Al Unser sprint car game or something. AJ Foyt. You had to start dirt sprint cars and then go to the Indy 500, something like that. We sat in the back of that. Me, John, and Billy Pouch sat in the back of that thing all the way to Richmond, Virginia, and Billy Pouch played video games with us the whole time.
Who was driving the motorhome?
John Jr.
John Jr.
What a great time. And ever since then, did I still want to see Billy Pouch win? No, but he's a good guy. And lesson to learn is that, especially in racing, you can't judge a book by its cover. Just because you don't like the guy on the track doesn't mean he's not a bad guy, And he's a good dude. I'm glad that he won that race.
Okay, a little bit further up north for our friends up by the Canada border, track I race at every once in a while, Hudson Speedway. Hudson Speedway's been getting a full makeover. They got new owners. Man, they're really fixing the place up nice. And on top of that, they're going NASCAR. They just got a NASCAR sanction, so that's pretty cool.
So what changes did they have to make for that NASCAR deal?
I have no idea. It's almost like NASCAR's making it easier because now, like, Bethel Speedway even went NASCAR sanctioned. So it seems like NASCAR is definitely trying to get some of these short tracks back on board.
Well, they're
it's great. NASCAR's got good insurance. It puts you in with the NASCAR weekly racing series points and all that stuff. Sometimes it's a little tough on the race competitors because you got to buy the NASCAR license, and that's a little pricey in the beginning of the year. But it's good. It's good. I wish Hudson Speedway well. I'm keeping an eye on there. I plan on maybe taking Nancy and me up there a couple times and run a couple enduros. So it's pretty cool to see Hudson.
Do you think that track is it capable of holding any kind of touring series of?
The pits are small there, but they made the pits bigger too. It might be on the radar. They have a modified tour race at Monadnock, so I don't see why they couldn't have it at Hudson. There's not many grandstands there, but there would be room for more. It'd be tough. But who knows? These guys are dumping a lot of money in this place. Maybe they'll put more grandstands in it too.
If it works.
All right, we already did Michael Waltrip on the Ferris wheel. We already did Wall Stadium on News 12.
Scott, did you hear anything about results on the Evergreen Enduro?
There wasn't many 8-cylinders. There was about 10 8-cylinders, and 4 or 5 of them were 4-cylinders, but there was a ton of 4-cylinders. I think they had 39 4-cylinders up there.
Okay.
And the same guy that won the 4-cylinder race also took his 4-cylinder race with the 8-cylinders and won that race too. I'm going to have to get up there. I don't like seeing 4-cylinders win 8-cylinder races. I got to get up there and see what I can do about that.
Use the chrome horn.
Yeah. And on another topic, that's the way we do it at Big Diamond too. We mix the 4-cylinders with the 8-cylinders, and it's actually a pretty good race. And the 4-cylinders can really hang with the 8-cylinders. They're actually pretty even. They're actually fun to race with.
Talk about 4-cylinders. If you watch that video of your win on the podcast board, do you see that that guy on the 4-cylinder, the first lap, going in the first turn, he got completely sideways, and he saved it in front of the whole field?
Yeah, he's the same guy that got into
got into Lee.
But you know what he was doing, and I see, Lee, whenever you're racing with a 4-cylinder and they get loose, don't go under them, because when these 4-cylinder guys get loose, you know how they get out of it?
They stand in the throttle. Yeah.
Yeah, floor it. And what happens is he's already pointing down the track. So now when he floors it, he shoots down the track. And that's exactly what he did to Lee. He was sideways. Lee made the smart move. He went to the inside to pass him because the guy was up high sideways. But then the guy floored it and ran right into Lee's right front tire, you know.
Lee did a hell of a job on the front stretch, too. That 1-4 wide pass. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Anybody, you got it. I know it's not the whole race, but it's good coverage in it. That was really a good race for what it was. It was fun to watch.
All right, we did Wall City.
I'm sorry, just to wrap up Evergreen, I did try to find results. I didn't find anything on the website or on Facebook from.
I did see results somewhere. I think they ended up posting it on Evergreen.
I saw that there was a big debacle getting in there. The roads, one of the bridges was out, and then the other road there was a school bus or a dump truck broke down.
I feel so bad for Evergreen. They try so hard, and there's always something weird happens to them that's out of their control. You know,
I guess
it's like those Florida headlines about something wacky that happens.
It's always something. I mean, the one time they had to cancel because there was a fugitive running around up there. It's stuff that's unheard of happens to them. I feel so bad for them. They try so hard up there.
So they apparently everybody pitched in and towed off whatever vehicle was stuck on the road.
Really, they had to be the road crew to the highway.
Yeah,
it's Pennsylvania. What are you going to do?
Yeah,
Pennsylvania.
Are you done with Evergreen, Josh?
that
was it. I just wanted to give them some love.
I also want to mention too that Gary Landis, he raced I think he finished 4th or 5th at Evergreen in the 8 cylinders, and then he ran Big Diamond and finished 4th with us. So he ran asphalt and dirt with the same car in the same weekend. So that's pretty cool, you know, that you can do that.
I want to get back to. I want to do more enduros. I want to run with the factory stocks, but I'm telling you, I think I'm going to have more fun if I get my car together and just start running enduros.
The enduros are awesome, Josh. That's where it's fun.
I miss the enduros. I want to do more of that. And maybe that's what I'm going to aim for. I want to support Wall. I do. I love that track, but I don't have the money to hang with, you know.
I was going to say, I love the factory stock division. I built 2 beautiful factory stocks this winter, and I can't wait to go out there and race. But dollar for dollar, enduro racing is where it's at. If you're tight on a budget and you're looking at the dollar to dollar, enduro racing is the way to go. All right, so we did Wall Stadium on the News 12. That clip is also up on our PM Podcast Facebook if you want to check it out. Tim talked about the Sunday Series practice that's happening this Sunday. If you're in the area and want to stop in, I'm sure it's free to get in the grandstands there, too, to watch the kids. We touched on Sonny the Welder passing away out on Long Island. Rest easy, Sonny. So here we are. What have we learned today?
No, Richmond.
Oh, yeah, Richmond. Unfortunately, I hate that this happened. I mean, Richmond had a big race weekend down there with the past Tour late models, and they had the modifieds there, the asphalt modifieds. Unfortunately, South Boston was on the same day. So
it wasn't. It was a little bit more complicated than that. This race was supposed to be at the end of last year.
Yeah,
it got rained out
for weather. Yes,
and for weather. I guess the logistics, from what I was told, the logistics of there was like 5 or 6 divisions there. Couple late model divisions and the 4-cylinder.
Yeah, there was even 4 cylinders there. Yeah. How cool to have a 4-cylinder race in that?
Apparently, for conversation's sake, say there was 5 divisions altogether. Logistically, there was 4 divisions that could work with that schedule. Unfortunately, the one that conflicted was the modifieds.
So unfortunately, they only had 10 modifieds there, and Matt Hirschman pretty much spanked them in one. But man, I did watch some video clips. Modifieds need to be on Richmond. It's a perfect racetrack. They look so cool on that track. They race so good on that track. Awesome that they tried to have that Richmond race weekend. Unfortunately, I just don't know if it was a money maker for them. I hope it was, but I don't think it was. And hopefully it's something they can keep doing and it'll grow. And then maybe the next time the modifieds won't conflict and they'll get more modifieds over. I know it had to be a tough decision for Matt Hirschman to pick if he was going to South Boston or Richmond. He chose Richmond and he ended up winning the race. Good job on Matt Hirschman. And people are saying, oh, big deal, Matt Hirschman beat 10 cars. Guess what? There could have been 30 cars there and Matt Hirschman can still win. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So good job for Matt Hirschman. Hopefully Richmond keeps doing that every year. I did see a lot of people from New Hampshire, my friends from New Hampshire on Facebook. A lot of them went to Richmond. There was a few street stock guys down there. And not only did they go to Richmond, but Southside Speedway raced on Friday night down there. So they got to go check out Southside Speedway, which is only about 20 minutes from Richmond. So they had a cool weekend. They hit 2 tracks in Virginia in one day. All right, we're moving on to what have we learned today. Josh, for the very first time, I had a pen and paper.
Oh, boy.
Prove it. On Old Township Speedway
Me too.
Dodge Weekly Series thing, and I wrote some stuff down.
I finally beat it into their skulls enough that they
Yeah, I
remembered.
mean, I haven't done my notebook yet with my results and stuff, but
This is forward progress.
yes,
Let's be
we're
positive.
doing good here.
So,
All right,
is
so
the new-
I'm going to go
the new
first.
RPM
I'm excited.
who-
What's that?
This is a new improved RPM podcast.
Yeah, right. I'm going to go first. I said, what have we learned today? Tim used to ride a bicycle.
Hell, I learned that too.
My brother Tim had this old, believe it or not, man, we used to go far when we used to ride bicycles. I can't believe how far we used to ride our bicycles. We lived in Farmingdale, and when arcades were real popular, there was an arcade at CV Square Mall. We used to ride our bikes all the way from Farmingdale to CV Square Mall. It was quite a ride. And I remember Tim had an old 10-speed that didn't even have a bicycle seat.
Yeah.
He took a piece of roll bar padding out of my dad's race car and put it on the center bar. He sat on the center bar, rode that 10-speed all the way to CV Square Mall.
I was too short. My legs were. If I put a seat on it, I couldn't reach the pedals.
He rode that 10-speed with no seat. I'm telling you, Josh, we were about 10 or 12 miles from CV Square Mall, man. It was an adventure to ride down there. All go to play Pac-Man and Asteroids and stuff like that. So, yes, believe it or not, Tim used to ride a bike.
wow. I can't unsee that now.
And
Thanks, Scott. I'll be walking through Thompson next week, and some guy will be like, "You used to ride a bike with no seat on it."
that bike didn't last long. I think we picked it out of the garbage, and it ended up back in the garbage real quick. Burt Myers eats bologna burgers for lunch. Bologna burgers are good with yellow mustard, but unfortunately they were out of fried onions, and bologna is better in Virginia.
Yes.
That's the three things I had for what you learned. So go ahead, Josh, you're next.
Oh, okay. I learned that today I learned Scott loves Tim's secret sauce.
Read the packaging. Now look, I got proof. They call it signature sauce now, which I don't like. It used to be the.
I learned that Scott is going to spray Elliott with his protection. I learned that Bailey had a better radio than most spotters.
That's true.
Today I learned that the stalls are big enough at South Boston. And I learned that Tim puts yellow mustard and cheese on his bologna.
Yes. I had two. I had the fire extinguisher with Scott, and then I had the signature sauce. I never knew that. There's one thing. Scott actually taught me something about food. It's been a long time since that's happened. One thing I wanted to mention real quick about South Boston is the bathrooms there are amazingly clean. Usually you go down south, and Scott will tell you, there's bathrooms down south, Josh. You walk in there, and you literally pee on the wall, and there's holes in the concrete, and it goes into the holes in the concrete. But the bathrooms.
Why was this not mentioned earlier? This is something big that I just learned.
How about camping? Was there campers there?
Yeah, there were campers in the back. I wouldn't say that there was a lot, but most of the people there, believe it or not, were local or from New Jersey. I really didn't see many.
Yeah, it was a 1 day show too, right? Yeah. A lot of times at 1 day shows you don't get many campers.
Tim, do you prefer peeing on the wall or do you prefer the troughs like at Dover or something?
I usually don't go in the troughs. I tell you the truth, I go in the stall if I ain't pissing next to some guy on the wall. Waterford's like that too. That's not my style, man. I don't do that.
Well, again, at least the stalls are big enough at South Boston.
Yeah, but what a clean racetrack that South Boston is.
What is the parking lot like there, Tim? Is there plenty of parking?
Yeah, there's both sides like Flemington. You can park in the front or the back. They got a pool there.
Do they really?
Yeah.
I'm not
going. Where and why is there a pool at a racetrack?
Why is there a pool there? I don't know. It's off of turn 1. It's between where the grandstands end and the press box begins.
All right. So, to your listeners, if anybody's been to South Boston and actually swam in the pool at South Boston, please comment or send us an email.
Contact us. We'll put you on the show.
We want to know why there's a pool at the racetrack and how often. Was there water in the pool, Tim?
It was covered, so I'm assuming there was water in it. I told Hot Pockets I was going to go in it, but we never made it over there.
So Josh, if you ever go to South Boston, bring a water tester. Let's see what that water's like in that
Oh,
pool.
boy, I can only imagine down there.
I'm sure if you Google Earth it, you could probably see it.
Project
Are we
for
gonna
this
say?
week.
I don't know if Ronnie Silk won that race. I don't know if we mentioned that.
Yeah, Ryan Silk won that, and that's in that purple car that
Yeah, that's a whole. That's,
drive, right?
those guys are good guys. I think that's the first tour win they've ever had. They were like MRS guys.
Yeah, they're MRS guys. I wonder if they're going to run the whole tour now. Were they at Myrtle Beach as well?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer. Yes, they were there. Yeah, they were there. Definitely, they were there. I think they're on like everybody else, in their boat, the 4-race steal, and see how they're going after that.
I'd tell you what, Ronnie Silk's one of those drivers. No matter what team he goes to, he can win.
Well, because he's like John and Matt Hirschman. He knows how to work on the race car.
Mm-hmm.
You can put him in the shop, and he can put the whole race car together. He can set it up and everything.
Right.
Yeah,
I can too. Not toot my own horn, but I'm pretty good at that too.
Your phone toots its horn.
All right, guys, I get going. It was fun. We'll see you next week. Don't remember, please. I'm racing at Big Diamond on Friday night. If it does rain out on Friday night, they have a Sunday rain date. That's real popular up there this year. A lot of these tracks are adopting rain dates, like the next day rain dates, because, we've been burned in the past where we lost so many races.
Mm-hmm.
Wall's having practice again. Go check out practice at Wall Stadium. Opening day is April 13th at Wall Stadium. I think it's going to be a great turnout. Thanks for joining us on the RPM podcast, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Please, every like actually helps us. It gets us recommended to more and more viewers. If you share it to your friends and all that, and go ahead, Tim.
Thank you for all the comments we've been getting. We've been getting the last month. We've really been getting a lot more comments and feedback. So the show's definitely growing. And thank you for everybody that's comments and helps us out.
And if you want to be on, come on, just message us. And Tim is our agent officially now.
Yeah, and we're officially going to try to be able to do the show Monday at 8:00 is probably going to be our shoot time from now on. Maybe Tuesday at the latest. But right now we've settled where it's going to be Monday, and it's worked out, 3 weeks in a row now? We've been doing it Monday.
Yeah,
the reason we used to do it Tuesdays is because you had to wait for the NASCAR penalties. We used to wait for the NASCAR penalties to come out so we knew who won and what happened.
Now they do it right at the track, right?
But now they do it right at the track, so now we can do the shows on Mondays, and we're 3 weeks in a row where we've done it Monday at 8:00. So that's when we do it. So we'll see you guys next week. Go to Wall.
Go to Wall.
Go to Thompson.